Hi, welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
And I'm Lori.
We are talking about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 14, Episode number 17, Season Finale, A Caribbean Send-Off.
Mm-hmm.
So we pick up on the boat where we left off with Sutton storming away. Jennifer goes over to her and she brings her a drink, and the two of them are talking. I thought it was interesting because in her confessional, Jennifer says, I see Erika's point, but I'm friends with Sutton, so I'm not going to say anything. And then Jennifer says to Sutton, I'm surprised how much these girls don't really like you. I was like,
yeah, how do you like
I
that?
was surprised at that too, because at first I was like, well, I'm glad Jennifer acknowledged the fact that, Sutton's not 100% right, but I'm her friend, so I'm just going to stand by her because nobody else is that honest about having their friends' backs on these shows. She was 100% honest. But yeah, and then she turns around and says, they don't like you. Like, that's just not it.
No, that's not it. It's not it. Actually, it's not it. But, not Erika, Garcelle actually was saying the same thing. She kept saying that, Sutton's hands aren't clean in this whole thing either.
Mm-hmm.
She has said that many times. Like although she's standing by her, she has said that not so much that she said that she's wrong, but she says her hands aren't clean. She doesn't, she hasn't,
I mean, Jennifer, I know she didn't really, maybe she felt like she really couldn't say anything, but maybe she could have said something like, maybe she could have said, like, obviously it's very triggering to Erika, bringing back memories for Erika when she didn't feel supported. Like, she could have said something, like she didn't have to say, I agree with your behavior, Sutton, or I don't agree, but she could have, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, just acknowledge that they could be feeling a certain way about something.
Yeah,
and
there's just things that you could say besides
why,
nothing. Yeah.
Right. So then we see Erika jumps off the boat to go swimming because that's the only place she swims is in the Caribbean. Dorit attempted to dive off the boat, but not so much.
And
No, not
Garcelle
very
said,
graceful.
if something brings Erika down, who's going in to get her?
Yeah.
And Boz was like, she did one of her,
Yep, one of her noises. And Kyle was out there swimming also. Boz and Garcelle, they're sitting there talking, and Boz says, well, how are we supposed to be a group if two people are on ice? And Garcelle says, we'll see. And Boz did another one of her sounds.
Oh.
Like a non-answer answer.
It looks like she has some very great moments at the reunion with her facial expressions and her
noises. We shall see.
Did you guys see her on Jimmy Fallon?
I did not.
A little clippets of.
I only saw a little clip.
Clips of it.
He goes, he runs down her CV, basically.
Yeah, I saw that. I did see that.
I mean, she's just extremely accomplished.
Yeah, absolutely.
Extremely accomplished.
Yeah.
So I just have a question for you. So this whole thing that's been going on with how Sutton's been feeling, is this do these women, because I'm only watching this 2 seasons, but is this something that they all do to each other all the time? Like, was Erika supportive of her castmates, when they were going through certain issues, whereas you could say Sutton was not, or you understand what I'm trying to say?
I think Erika is always supportive. I think Erika's a girl's girl and always tries to lift her girlfriends up. When Erika's husband was brought up on charges and Erika's involvement with that was still in question, Sutton came hard at her.
Yeah,
she was asking questions that they all wanted answers to, but Sutton was pretty aggressive with it, I would say.
Okay.
I wouldn't have been that aggressive. I would have tried to ask the questions, but not as aggressively as Sutton.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion, but I don't know how Wendy feels.
No, I totally agree. Erika has always been there for pretty much everybody. She's always had their back, unless you come for her.
That's right.
Unless you come for her, because if you come for her, there's, all gloves are off. And that's what you see, because they do play back all the clips in this episode. That's what I liked about this episode, to be honest with you, because they do play back all the clips. And, Erika, she went back at Sutton hard, but Sutton went at her first. And Sutton should know better than to go after Erika, because it's not going to fare well. It's not going to fare well.
And Erika painted herself in a pretty poor light when that was all going on. She looked very unsympathetic to the
Well, she was
victims.
angry. She looked
But she was
angry, and she was.
angry, and she probably shouldn't have been on the show that season because of everything going on. I mean, it was real litigation. It was real life
Yeah, and
litigation.
didn't she say that she was drinking a lot and was kind of
The
coping
medication,
medication
absolutely.
Absolutely. So nobody needed to do anything to try to make Erika look
any worse
negative.
than she did, right? Because she did it to herself.
And Sutton just kept coming hard.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
she even admitted she was in a dark hole. She was in deep depression. She didn't want to leave her house. Like, she was in deep depression, and she was coping with alcohol and medication.
Yeah.
I mean, she was very honest about that. And
I think she's had a pretty decent redemption since then.
I definitely think she
was humble.
I love her. I do love her.
I do.
Yeah. So then they get back after the boat ride, and they're all getting ready. They're back at their villas, and they're getting ready for dinner. Kathy's sitting there eating Cheetos. Boz says they need to get ready for a super celebration because it's a birthday dinner for both Erika and Dorit. Erika's talking to her makeup artist, and she says that, she thinks that she is right, that she doesn't have any ill will towards Sutton. She feels like the others feel the same way. She's just making her opinion known and letting Sutton know, like, this is what you've done to people. Like, I've moved past it, but you're still doing it. You did it to me, you did it to Kyle. Now you're doing it to Dorit, and we're just calling you out on it. That's all that's happening.
Right.
And Jennifer's talking to Sutton while they're getting ready, and Jennifer said it seemed like they all had their points in line. Like, it seemed like a lawyer, like, well planned out. Like, Erika and then Dorit chimed in. And honestly, I think this is where it went wrong, is Jennifer's opinion of what happened. Because when she goes to the other room with them, her and Garcelle start talking about it. And, that's not what Sutton said. And they made it seem like it was coming from Sutton, which, I didn't think that was such a great look.
And there's nothing wrong, like, with what Erika said on the boat. There's nothing wrong with almost like rehearsing and have your points on point to know what you're going to say. If you're telling somebody how you feel about something and you know it's probably going to upset them, there's nothing wrong with knowing what you're talking about and not just saying something in the minute off the cuff. So, yeah, when you're saying something like that to somebody, you better know what the fuck you're talking about. So,
Right.
I don't think there's anything wrong with knowing what you're talking about. It doesn't mean it's rehearsed or, they were trying to make her out like, oh, what does she think? She's some lawyer bringing all these points. Well, listen, if you're going to say something, you better know what you're saying.
And she was married to a lawyer for 30 years, 20-something years.
Yeah, exactly.
So your brain starts to work that way.
Right.
Especially when you're in a group of women filming a reality TV show that you know damn well they're going to play flashbacks.
Yeah, you better have
you
your
have
shit
to
together.
know your facts, and you do have to have them lined up.
Right. And did anybody on that boat stop Erika and say, hey, you know what? That might be so, but Sutton was really here for me and ...
Well,
I hear nobody.
Well, that's pretty much Kyle's point, because then, Garcelle point blank says to Kyle, you didn't have her back. And Kyle's like, wait, like, how is this my fault now? And, they get to that part later in the episode, but
I understood what Garcelle was saying, though. Do you guys?
Listen,
to an extent.
I think when Kyle explains it, when she sits down with Garcelle and Jennifer at the beach, the three of them are sitting there at the beach. She said, listen, the three of us are all friends with her. None of you said anything. None of you. So why all of a sudden am I the one supposed to say something? And then when she spoke to Sutton directly, she said, because Sutton kept trying to cut her off, because Sutton said, do you feel that way? Do you feel that way? Is that true? Is that true? And she kept cutting her off. And Kyle's like, let me finish. Yes, that is true. But I didn't want to pile on. So she can't defend her in that moment because she felt the same way.
And the thing is that Kyle doesn't know, and why would she, how desperately Sutton wants to be her friend and be close with her. Like, that's what I was going to say. I understand. I totally get what Garcelle was saying. I think Garcelle is 100% right. I just don't think Kyle knows the severity of Sutton's obsession with being her friend.
But again, that's not Kyle's fault. Like, that's not Kyle's
100%.
problem.
But Garcelle saying it, like, maybe she's just not saying it right.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe that's why she storms off at the reunion.
On the after show, Jennifer Tilly actually makes an observation and points out to Sutton that she feels that Kyle is almost her Reba. Like, she needs
validation.
Kyle for that validation.
She's very
for
insecure,
their
Sutton. She's a very insecure woman.
We've said this, though, before. We've said that exact same thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So before that even happens, before Garcelle and Jennifer go over to meet everybody, Garcelle says to Sutton, listen, I just, I want to bring something up. I don't feel like Kyle was there for you. And that's when Sutton starts crying. She's like, oh, we came so far in Georgia, and I don't
feel like her reaction was a little much.
I wanted to say, what is this big setback? What is this big setback?
She said, that's what she said.
Because she's not, being her soldier.
Right.
Standing up for her.
I was like, what are you even talking? Like, where are you going with this? What big setback with your friendship are you talking about? I was like, girl, I don't even know what you're talking about.
She said they've been wanting to break me for years. Those were her exact words. I'm like, I don't think really that's the case. That's not the case.
It's not. I mean, she really, she hasn't had an issue with, she had an issue with Diana. I mean, in my personal opinion, Diana was a little crazy.
Diana
she was a one
crazy.
and done on the show. She was a little,
Yeah.
That's like a good example to me of somebody just with so much money. Their whole perception of reality is
skewed, off in the out there.
Yeah.
But I think, other than that, did she have a problem with anybody?
Well,
other than her bringing it on.
Well, I mean, she's had a problem with Dorit for a long time. I mean, they've never been close. I just think it's interesting that her and Garcelle just hit it off.
They did.
Well,
and
on
what's
the
really
after
going to be
show,
interesting is next season without Garcelle on it. Like, Sutton,
gonna hang with,
who she got. Well, Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah, on the after show, Dorit was even went so far as to say that when Garcelle and Sutton came on at the same time, and that Garcelle really did not care for Sutton, and then Garcelle had some fundraiser for Haiti.
Yes, that's right.
Sutton bought like this $25,000 table. And then after that, she got invited to Garcelle's New Year's Eve party. And then after that, they were friends. So Dorit was like, well,
interesting.
Just think that she buys her friendships. And Boz was like, oh.
So who asked who, where'd you get your money? Garcelle asked Sutton, where'd you get your money?
She did.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she did.
And Sutton did not like that.
No, she didn't.
And I think, too, the thing with Kyle and what Garcelle is saying is there is like a double standard for Kyle. I mean, Kyle's the one who brought up the whole alcoholic thing to begin with, because she was the one that she said that comment, when they were at Kyle's house. I don't know how many drinks you're on, if this is your 5th drink or whatever. And then
that was 2 seasons ago.
Right. But what I'm saying is
before Dorit said anything last season. That's the point.
Right.
Kyle brought it up first.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes. Yes, she did.
Now, Dorit's comment was not as eloquent and doesn't have as much crafty shade as Kyle's did. She was a little more blunt, saying like,
I think that's pretty blunt. I don't know what drink you're on, your 1st or your 5th.
Yeah, but Dorit implied that she drinks first thing in the morning. So
yeah, she puts vodka in her coffee.
It's a little rougher, but I guess Garcelle is like, well, so why you know what I mean? There's a double standard. Like Kyle's the one who said it to begin with, said basically the same thing, maybe in a nicer way.
Right.
But Dorit's
she
getting
brought
pounded,
up her drinking.
And Kyle's not. So I think that's kind of where Garcelle was coming from a little bit too.
Even the scene when Kyle, the name 'em scene, her drinking was in question then, and it was with Kyle. Absolutely. And that was before, was that last season? Maybe that wasn't before Dorit said what she said.
I think that was
2 seasons ago, right?
Well, Crystal was there. So wait, this is Crystal's first season not there. So Crystal was there. It was after Crystal's birthday. It was after they went to Vegas. That was a whole Vegas thing with she wore pants and the magic mic.
My God, that was so crazy.
Like that's what it was about. It was about that whole big blow up there.
So I think that was two seasons ago.
Yeah.
And then they show Kyle calling Sutton a bitch twice. And then we had the name 'em thing with telling her she loses her shit in ridiculous circumstances.
Well, listen, Sutton said to her, "You've already lost 2 sisters. Do you wanna lose another one?"
Right.
Like, first
That
of
was
all, fuck you,
crazy.
Sutton. You're not my
Right.
sister. And
Right.
fuck you, Sutton, because don't talk about my relationship with my sisters on television.
And Kathy was
Because you
standing right
don't
there.
know.
Yeah. Right. I
Kathy
know.
wasn't there because that actually was when Kyle and Kathy weren't talking.
She
Yeah, no,
wasn't
she
there?
wasn't there.
It's
No, she
before
wasn't.
they
Okay.
before they
Okay,
started
before they got
talking
back
again.
together. Okay.
Which is even worse because that means that Sutton was talking to Kathy
Right.
and brought that up on TV. I mean, she's
Yeah.
done some shitty things, Sutton.
The interesting thing is, like you said, so she's been friends with Kathy this whole time, right? So when she had that little fit on the boat, Kathy's the one that went over to her. She
She
didn't
did.
accept Kathy. When she is having the other little fit, Kathy's the one that goes over to her. And she's like, just call me a Barbie. Like, Kathy is the one who is trying to be there for her, and she's
Yeah.
not accepting it. So it's
Yeah.
like,
So it really is a Kyle thing.
yeah, which is not Kyle's problem. It's Sutton's problem.
And I don't think Kyle understands the depths of it
Mm-hmm.
because it's a little abnormal.
It's a little weird. It's a little stalkery,
Yeah. Like
right?
the only person I'm going to get pissed off at for not having my back is Eric. Like I don't
Right.
care what I do, what I say, you know.
Right.
And trust me, he does not always have my back.
Right. Well, you know
He will tell me when I'm wrong, and it
Right.
irks me to end.
But in public, he has your back.
100%.
And that's really what it's about, you know?
Yes.
Calling
But
you
if
out
one
on
of
your
my
shit. Yeah.
girlfriends really didn't agree with what I was doing,
Yeah.
I can't, I'm not gonna break down over it. I don't think.
Yeah. I don't know. Her
Well,
reaction is not normal.
It
But
wasn't
this
normal.
is the thing. This is the thing. If somebody calls you a bitch a couple times, if somebody tells you shut the fuck up, if somebody tells you that you kick people when they're down, if people keep saying these things to you, maybe you want to think about it a little bit.
Yeah, like maybe
Just a little self-reflection, like maybe, instead of saying turning it into everybody's against me, everybody hates me, I'm gonna go eat worms. Like maybe you could look at it and say, well, maybe.
Well, the funny thing is that you say that because I'm going to jump a little bit because she does say that she does some self-reflection when her and Boz go out and they go to the chocolatier and they're making chocolate. And she says to Boz, let me just find it. She says to Boz, you know, I don't have it just yet, but she says, I have done a little bit of, all these people. I have looked inside myself and I see what's going on with these other women. And I imagine that they look at me and of course, you know, they have a problem with it. Of course they feel bad, meaning that she's up here.
Well, I think that's the problem with Sutton.
Sutton
Well,
says,
yeah,
I have to take better care.
Oh, here it is, right here.
That's what she kept saying. But
Yes.
basically what she was saying is that she feels that the other women are attacking her because she's in a stable place in her
Right.
life.
Right.
Financially. It's all financial with her.
Well, she's, basically. I'm
Because
thinking,
other than that, is she stable? Honestly.
No.
Right. Like, God bless you, Sutton. You get $300,000 a month from your divorce. God bless you. But you are still clearly a very insecure person that you have to vie for these friendships. So she is a very materialistic person.
Yeah.
She's putting money before anything, and she must feel like they're envious of her, but
maybe
I don't think they are.
Maybe she's done that because that's the only place that she was able to find validation.
Yeah, that's the only. She's
And
confident
to
in
me,
her financial stability.
Right. And to me, that's sad. Like,
Very sad.
I feel bad that she feels that way about herself.
Of course, it's very sad.
So actually, I found my notes on this. What she says, I thought this was actually one of her better lines when Boz says to Sutton, about last night, I want to know what your thoughts are. And Sutton said, well, it reminds me of the Jackie Kennedy quote, if I tell you my thoughts, then they're no longer my thoughts. And I was like, oh, I didn't
Love
expect
that.
I do too. I did not expect that from Sutton, to be quite honest with you.
I didn't either, but I do love that quote. I'm glad you
and
said
Boz,
it.
Yeah, Boz was impressed too. I mean, I could see that she was impressed. And she said, Erika and I have had discussions in the past about what happened, and she didn't show any animosity towards me. Like, we had moved past that. She said, I thought things were good. And that Bo said, well, she had mentioned it to me that, what had happened, so it's definitely something that was still out there. Isn't it good that at least she got it out? And Sutton said, well, yeah, that's fine. But I thought about it, and Erika herself was down. And then Kyle and Dorit were after her and asking the same questions I was. And that's when she goes on to say, it's strange that there's a double standard or a triple standard, because not only were they asking the questions, their husbands were making fun of Erika.
My God, that flashback. And you know what? She's absolutely right.
Well,
That still fucking cracks me up what PK said, though.
I know. Listen, first of all, they were high as a kite. Not that that's an excuse.
Absolutely.
They were as high as a kite. They didn't really know it in context. It would be like if we're hearing that story and we're high as a kite, we'd be like,
My God.
oh my gosh, what do we treat? The brain or the foot? Like,
No. Save the foot.
Save the
He's
foot.
like, he's not a professional soccer player.
But the thing is,
so funny.
The difference about that is when they were called on it, every single one of them apologized. They
Absolutely.
apologized. They were
Even
sorry.
the husbands, right? Even Mo
Absolutely.
And
they were remorseful. Like, they were remorseful.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with Sutton, is she doesn't own anything. Like, she doesn't own anything. And I just think it's interesting. That's when she says it's a double standard or a triple standard, which you guys were just saying the same thing, but on the other side, right? And then she said, that's when I had my come to Jesus moment. And Boz is like, oh, well, what was that? Well, I said, Jesus, like, look at where these women are. And I had to look at my life. And I thought about that. And I said, well, them looking at me, like, what is that? And then Boz makes her noise. And she said, so you think you're up here? And she said, no, I need to take care better. I think the allegiance from Kyle goes to those two. So again, she specifically said, I think the allegiance from Kyle goes to those two. Again,
she's
this
just
is
hyper-focusing on Kyle.
This is all her issue. It is nobody else's. And she's still not seeing it, even after she repeats it.
It's interesting because it could be, we all know certain people join shows and then they realize who they think the head person is, and they know if they stay in their good graces, they're probably going to stay on the show. So this could be about the show, but for some reason, I don't think it's about the show.
No, I don't either.
Obviously, people would come on to Beverly Hills thinking that Kyle's the head person of Beverly Hills and try to stay in her good graces. I personally think that that's what Erika does. I think Erika's a good friend, but I think that Erika is very smart and strategic and knows if she stays in Kyle's good graces, her chances of staying on the show are better.
But not to the point of ass kissing, though.
Absolutely.
That's a difference.
Absolutely. But for
you
some
can be
reason
strategic without being an ass kiss.
Yeah, you just, listen, she's learning how to play the game. She's playing it well. But for some reason with Sutton, I don't think that's what this is.
No.
It's something different with Sutton and Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, it's with Sutton, though.
Yeah.
Kyle is just
I don't even think Kyle realizes it's going on.
Well, she doesn't, because Garcelle said to the Kyle, like, I don't think you realize you are the hero in her story. And she's like, what? Like, how?
Yeah.
How can, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Because I think Jennifer Tilly is right. I think she has somehow put the persona of her mother in some way onto Kyle, and that's how she operates.
Yeah.
That's exactly. I think Jennifer Tilly is absolutely right on that.
Yeah. So then they go out to the party, and there's steel drums there.
Outfits were amazing.
No, we're not at that party yet.
We're not
this
at
is
the part
birthday.
with the...
No, this is Erika's party.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Erika
and
Dorit's birthday party.
Yet.
Yeah, we're not at the carnival yet. Because Sutton shows up a little bit later, right?
And
so
Kathy
Sutton
pees her pants.
Yes, but the interesting thing is before Kathy tinkled in her pants, when she was getting ready, Kyle said, "Kathy, what are you wearing?" She said, "Shorts and a t-shirt." And the look on Kyle's face,
and I laughed. I'm like, huh, right.
Yeah, but
and then she really walked out in shorts and a t-shirt.
She was wearing this green Versace t-shirt that was all wrinkled and all disheveled. Her hair looked like she didn't even. I mean, honestly, she looked ill. I really thought she looked ill. I know she
Really?
said she was hot, but her hair was a mess. Like she didn't look like she put the clip in it, but it wasn't even really combed right.
Yeah, I don't know what she had going on.
It just cracks me up that Boz and who else? Sutton had their assistants there, and Kathy's the one who really needs her assistant on these shows.
Yes.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That is a fact.
Like, just send Kathy's assistant.
Yeah.
Yes, please do.
She definitely needs an assistant because, you know, she's got the rag around her neck, and then she asks the guy for ice, and she's sticking it
Under
underneath
the
her
arms.
armpits.
Amazing.
And then she's like, I got to go to the bathroom. And then she comes back, and I have a tinkle in my pants. Wait, what?
I know they're like, oh, wardrobe change. She's like, well, I peed my pants.
And Boz made another noise.
Yeah.
This is why I love Kathy Hilton. I really do.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I'm in a different place with Kathy Hilton this season.
We're kind of jumping all over a bit, but I just wanted to mention this. So when Garcelle and Jennifer came in and Jennifer announced that there was the glitch in the Matrix, what really bothered Erika about this whole thing was the fact that they thought it was a coordinated effort, that, you know, she planned this and that really bothered Erika. It's not about anything else. And she brings it up more than once during this episode because she talks to Dorit about it. She's like, this is what really bothers me. And then at the very end, she brings it up again because she lets them know that, listen, I went and I talked to Sutton, and Sutton didn't say that. So which one of you, and she points to Garcelle and Jennifer, which one of you came up with that? Because that is the only thing that bothered her.
Right.
It was her integrity. Like, don't think I need someone to come in here. I don't need an orchestrated plan. If I have something to say, these are my feelings, and I am going to say them.
Right.
Good for you, Erika. That's what we want in a housewife. You know, you want you to do your own work. We don't, you know. And Dorit just validated it because she felt the same way. That's all that happened.
Well, that's it. She just kind of agreed with her.
Exactly.
Who did anybody say? Me? I'm like.
So Jennifer starts talking first. Let me skip to it because I just said we're going all over, but I feel like we have to finish this part of it because it happens in Carnival.
And by the way, I want to see proof of an IQ test where Sutton's 140.
140.
I want to see proof, Bravo.
And you know, she went from like crying to weirdly saying that about the IQ of 140. It was like a two totally different personalities. Crying, and then the 140 comment. It was very odd.
That's what I'm saying. I just don't think she's cut out for this, Sutton. I just don't think she's cut out for the housewife. And I don't think I would be either. I'm not saying that I would do any better of a job. I would be a hot mess. Plus, my bank accounts would not.
No. I mean, those bank accounts.
Before the end of this episode, let's talk about Bethany Frankel and what she said about Real Housewives of New Jersey, too.
Okay. We'll get to it.
So Jennifer answered, and Jennifer said, I feel bad that they made you feel bad. Erika said, I had a conversation with Sutton, and, you know, she said that this isn't how she felt. And then it was a little bit silent for a minute. And then Garcelle said, Erika Jane, you and I are building our friendship and we have come a long way. And if that's what you say, I believe it. And then it just dropped right there.
It just dropped, right?
It just dropped. Yep. And then that's when the carnival, like then the firewalkers come out. So like that was at the very end. Like that was like the last word of it, you know, because then they just were kind of celebrating. All right, let me go back.
Yeah, we got to go back because then all of a sudden at that dinner, after Kathy comes back and says she peed her pants, somehow they start doing impersonations of each other.
Yes.
I think Jennifer Tilly asked. Somebody asked somebody if they're good at doing impressions.
Is that how it started?
Kyle is good at impressions. Like she does a great Teddy. Did she do Jennifer Tilly? Kyle?
Somebody did.
I think that's how it started. Because
somebody did
Kyle
Jennifer
really
Tilly
is good
first.
at that.
Yeah, somebody did Jennifer Tilly first. And then somebody picked up and did Sutton. And then once the Sutton thing started, then I did feel a little bad for her because then everybody was doing Sutton.
And who was Sutton trying to do? Erika?
No, she was just trying to do herself.
She was saying, I don't talk like that. I don't talk like that. I don't talk. That's all she kept doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she was doing a
I
bad
wasn't
she was
following
doing a
that.
bad Southern impression of
Yes.
herself, saying, like, "I don't talk like that." That's what
Mhm.
she was doing.
Right. And it was very awkward. It was very awkward, that whole part.
Extremely awkward.
Yeah. And then the birthday cakes came out, and that's kind of what ended it. The
Those
birthdays
cakes were
came out.
great, though.
Yeah.
Those
And
cakes
with the
were great.
pictures of the girls on them.
Did you guys see Boz's yellow Chanel pocketbook that looked like a box?
I missed it.
No. Oh, you said
You gotta
no?
look that up.
I
Listen,
missed
I
it.
like my bags, don't get me wrong, but I'm obviously not buying Chanel. So I don't pay particular attention to these women's bags because I
I
know I'll never
do.
be able to afford it.
I
But
can't believe I missed it.
you have to look up the yellow Chanel
Okay.
bag Boz had. Really, really cute.
All right, I definitely will. So then they all, after the cake comes out, Sutton's like, I'm going to go to bed, like she's leaving, but they're all leaving. So then they all go to bed. And then the last days is where Boz takes Sutton to the chocolatier and they have that whole conversation. And then Jennifer and Garcelle and Kyle are sitting at the beach, and Garcelle asks Kyle if she posted her thirst trap yet. And she says no. And Jennifer says hers is up to 100,000 likes. And now she knows what
picture.
Instagram. Yeah, it was a good picture.
It's a great picture.
Now
And
she
by
knows.
the way, Jennifer's pink lipstick on the beach, I
Mhm.
haven't stopped thinking about it since. And that will be my mission to find
Gotta
out
find that.
pink
what lipstick she was
I
wearing.
loved her sunglasses. Oh,
The white
my
ones?
God. The ones Jennifer Tilly had on. They were
The white
awesome.
ones?
Yes.
Yeah. And then they're talking about last night, and that's when, Garcelle tells her that, she's the hero. Then Garcelle asks Kyle, after what Bo said about, running into Mo with the girl, like, does that make you want to do something? And Kyle's like, well, no, it doesn't make me like want to run out and get a divorce. And Jennifer then went on to say, well, my ex, who, when we broke up, we had $700,000 in our account. Someone told me that I need to get a lawyer. And then Kyle's like, well, did you get more than 350? She goes, yeah, I did. I got Simpson money. I can't buy these diamonds with Chucky money.
She said, I'm not buying these diamonds with Chucky money.
Chucky money.
That was great.
Chucky money just pays for my snacks, is what she said.
That was great.
I hope that resonated with Kyle, to be quite honest with you. I
Yeah.
hope that does,
Hopefully.
I mean, again, he could always drain a bank account. But everything Mo accomplished was after they got married. So I believe Kyle is just entitled to half of everything.
Yeah, but
it doesn't mean he can't drain a bank account before that.
I mean, he must have done Simpsons when she was with him if she got a piece of Simpsons.
I think he put that in his will. I don't know. I mean, think
No,
about how
'cause
long the
she had
Simpsons
it.
have been around.
I know.
Her royalties from Simpsons must have been in perpetuity. So it wasn't
Yeah,
just
perpetuity, absolutely. But I'm just
while he
saying.
was alive. It must have been after.
Right. She got a piece of it. Like, he got his piece of it. She
And
got
she got a
her
piece of
piece
it.
of it.
Yeah.
Right. So she had to be there when he started it, is what I'm saying. Right? In order for her to get a piece of it?
Unless he just designated it in his will.
Yeah.
No, because she had
in their
it.
divorce decree. In their divorce decree, because they were divorced before he passed.
Yeah, but why would it be in the divorce decree?
Because
that she got a
was
piece of
offering
Simpsons?
it to her.
But if she didn't do it, if he didn't do Simpsons while he was married to her, why would he?
He must have been doing it.
I'm thinking he did it before they even got married. think about how long the Simpsons. I was in high school when the Simpsons came out.
Yeah, but it was still running. Like, even when they got, like, it's been.
Yeah,
so he started it before.
I think he started it before they got together, and then when they got divorced, he gave her a piece of it in their divorce agreement.
Right.
That's what I don't know why, but that's what I thought happened.
Yeah, that's probably it. Then we see Erika and Dorit. They're talking about how, they actually would like to move forward with Sutton. Like, they don't think she's always a bitch. She's not, constantly mean-spirited. Like, they want to give her a chance. Then they talk about the carnival. And did you see them when they got dressed? And did you see Dorit trying to twerk?
Dorit should never twerk again. And I can't dance to save my life.
I was just going to say, Dorit twerks about as good as I can twerk, which is not at all.
Yeah, don't twerk anymore.
Yep. That was so funny. And what about Jennifer Tilly trying to gyrate?
So cute.
That's the thing. Jennifer Tilly's so damn cute. She could do anything. She could probably
Absolutely.
have twerked just as bad as Dorit, and we would have been like, oh, well, she gave it her best shot.
Yeah, yeah.
It was funny. Did you hear when she said, "Oh, it's a good thing that I've played the part of a stripper before"?
Yes.
Erika's like, these other girls don't know what they're doing. And I mean, she was probably right. I mean, nobody could have rocked those feathers in that outfit like Erika Jane. I mean, she wore
Well,
it
she was
like,
in her element. I mean,
she
that's
said that
her.
was her dream. That was her dream.
That's
Yeah,
her
she looked good.
persona in a nutshell.
I mean, Boz was barely wearing anything.
Anything at all. God
She
bless
had
her.
like dental floss on. Boz, Dorit, and Erika really looked amazing.
They did. In the after show, Dorit said she asked to take hers home, and Boz is like,
She
"What are you gonna do?
bought it.
Yeah, she bought it. She's like, "What are you gonna do?
Bought
Wear it to the supermarket?" She's like, "I don't care. Like, I felt so good in it, and good for her. I mean, she looked amazing.
great.
She looked
Amazing.
amazing. She looked
Yeah.
amazing. Wear it to the supermarket. I dare you."
Exactly.
right.
Absolutely.
Now, the whole time when you were saying the whole thing about Kathy kind of championing and Sutton, you see where in like the confessional, or maybe it was on the after show, I don't know. Kathy was saying how it took a lot of courage. She felt it took a lot of courage for Sutton to come down to dinner when it was the girl's birthday after the boat thing. And Kathy was like, you know what, it might not have been a big deal for other people, but she knew it was a big deal for Sutton.
It's true.
So it
it's
is
true.
true.
She showed up because in the past, other housewives wouldn't have.
Yeah.
So good for her.
No, I agree with that. So then the fire walkers come out, and the stilt walkers, and they're all dancing in the beautiful colors. And then they start to give us their closing lines, right? So it starts with Garcelle continues to call the shots on her sets, but her favorite role is grandma to Oliver's new daughter, Valley. Then we do.
God, he's doing well.
Yes. Bozma has started her fertility journey with Keely, choosing the natural route to start. And Keely finally gave Boz what she was waiting for, and I love you, which is nice. Sutton and Dorit's relationship remains on ice, but Sutton's relationship with RHOBH-A is warming up and better than ever. Interesting that they didn't mention her relationship with Kyle, right? Since that was a big part of it. Kyle and Mauricio continue their stalemate over their next steps, but Kyle remains open to love in her life.
Yet she wants to avoid the paparazzi. That's a fucking joke. That's a joke.
Oh, you don't think she does?
Come on, Kyle.
Now, what was it at the end? Did they have like little confessionals at the end too? Because I wrote down that Sutton says how she could be a better friend, and then production pans to like a picture of Kyle. That was interesting.
No, that is
Because
interesting.
Sutton said she wishes she could change her friendship with Dorit, right?
Right. She says that's things that they saw say at the end. But when Sutton says, I could be a better friend, it's funny because production pans, it has a picture of Kyle.
So Dorit and PK currently have no plans to rekindle their relationship, but they are working on co-parenting better. And Dorit is considering filtering PK's emails to her junk folder. And then we didn't have Erika's yet, but then we see 1 month later, and they show you. It was weird. I don't like how they did this. 1 month later, they show us.
Like, bravo. We know, we get it. It's your new formula. Pick the cameras back up. But nobody gives a shit about Tom Girardi's sentencing.
Yeah, it was weird.
Picking the cameras back up it's old. It's done. It's played out.
Yep. So 1 month later, Erika's talking to Kyle, and that on August 27th, Tom was found guilty on 4 counts of wire fraud. Kyle, being the good friend, said when she heard about that, she was immediately concerned for Erika, and she knew it was going to be hard. I thought it was very interesting that Erika said, and it's not surprising, that before the verdict, she was feeling really good. Like she was enjoying her life, because we kind of saw that. And then she felt herself slipping back down into that hole, like immediately.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens.
I know.
Like reliving it.
That's when she needs her friends, though. That is when, like, she needs someone to make sure she doesn't get back in that hole, and she keeps moving forward. And she also said that, it's not over. It's still not over. She doesn't have to apologize for her feelings because no one lived in that house with her. The two of us have their incredible memories and their terrible memories. She wishes things were different, but, this is her life and she doesn't have to apologize for it. And then her ending thing is Erika still hasn't spoken to Tom since the verdict, but her career continues to rise. She reprised the role of Roxy Hart on Broadway and is booked to headline the Mighty Hoopla Festival in London this summer. I don't know what that is, but I bet you it's fun.
I'm sure it's fabulous.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next week is the reunion.
Yeah.
I think
we'll
it's
see what
going to
happens.
be explosive.
Well, Garcelle walks off, so something good happens.
Well, we knew Garcelle walked off, and then we find out that Garcelle resigns. She puts out her statement, and I'm sure you saw Boz and Boz.
I did not watch What
Happens Live
with Erika, but I heard
Erika either.
I read where they looked like Mean Girls.
They did
That's
look a
all
little
I
bit.
read.
They did look a little bit like Mean Girls. Well, because Andy asked them, what were your thoughts about, Garcelle resigning? And at first they were really kind of silent. And then Eric was like, well, we knew because she left the reunion. She didn't take the final picture with us. Like, we knew she wasn't coming back. And Andy was like, well, I didn't really know until last week when she came to Watch What Happens Live. And she had told him, like, they sat down before Watch What Happens Live. But basically what they're saying is, well, that's what happens. If you walk off a reunion and you refuse to take a picture, and then Andy said, well, Kyle didn't take the ending picture one time. And Eric was like, that's Kyle.
That's Kyle.
But it's not that she left. It's not that she left. It's not that she walked off.
But it's different treatment. I mean, listen, we've said it before. Andy treats Kyle differently. He treats, Teresa Giudice differently. I'm sure there are plenty more, but those are the two that stick out in my head. He just treats them differently.
No, he does. I mean,
he treats Joe Gorga differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's got his favorites. That's it. Kyle's one of them, for sure.
I do think, though, that Garcelle really has a big blow up with Bozma. I don't think it's just, I think it's her and Bozma have a big falling out, because then even after Watch What Happens Live, did you guys see on Instagram what Bozma had posted to Garcelle? Oh, you didn't see it? She had posted, let me find it. She basically said, like, I wish you would have come back. Like, I wish you would have given this a chance. She wrote something very nice. And actually people were like, always a marketer, because it was very
well, people are saying, why
badass pose.
Why didn't you say that at Watch What Happens Live?
And she even said, like,
good point.
Even though I was a little snarky on Watch What Happens Live and now I don't see it, it's not on her page.
Well, listen, if Erika was sitting there being snarky, she's sitting there with Erika, she's going to follow suit. I mean, she doesn't strike me as a follower, Boz, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I think anyone sitting in that seat would probably, just kind of go with it.
Go with the flow of what's going on.
Yeah. Basically what she said is that, we had some good times. I really wish you would have stuck it out and, we could have been like this powerhouse friendship or something like that.
But how about Garcelle posting, not all skin folk are kinfolk?
Well, she posted that after the reunion. She posted that right after the reunion, before any of this.
That was a little.
That's a little much.
That's a little much.
That's why I think it has to do with those two. That a lot of the walk off.
Clearly.
Yeah, because she did post that.
And you know what? And I feel like that is not that I'm some big Garcelle basher, because I was really ambivalent about her either way.
Loved Garcelle before this season.
I think she was fine, but I think that that's very unfortunate that she posted that, because I think that there's a possibility that she could have had her departure from the show, the focus not so blatantly be on the fact that there are two Black women on the show and now there's only one, or pitting them against each other, or I think that comment really added to the perceived race element of Garcelle leaving the show. Because there is a race element to it. Online, there is.
What do you mean?
There's a lot of people who are saying, there couldn't be two strong Black characters on the show, and, Garcelle, should have been, worked on her friendship with Boz more. Boz should have worked on her friendship with Garcelle more because she's Black. Like there was this whole weird race element to it online that I don't think that Garcelle's comment helped.
Right.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Well, it's just a shame because they're two very accomplished women.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And despite race or anything, ethnicity, like it just they both contributed well to the show, I thought. I think Garcelle had a little bit of a tough season, but I also think that that's because she was defending Sutton so much.
Right.
So it's a shame that that's the way she's going out. I did read today that she and Sutton are not speaking, but I don't know if that's true.
I did see
You saw
something.
that, right?
I saw something about that too, and
Who knows if that's true?
I don't know if it's true or not. I don't.
I mean, I hope to God not, you know?
I would think that what went down is everybody's her contract was up, right? So maybe Andy came back with something for her and she just thought about it and she was like, you know what? I got the thing with my kids. I got all these projects going on. Things are like a little bit shitty with Sutton. I'm tired of this whole bullshit. Maybe she was like, you know what? Now I got this little bit of a thing with Boz on this. Maybe she's just like, you know what? What am I doing? What am I doing here?
Could be.
She's got plenty of other things going on in her life, Garcelle, where
Absolutely.
she's certainly not sitting around bored. She's
No.
busy. She's got work. So,
Right.
but I'll miss her because I really liked Garcelle.
I like
really
Garcelle
have a
too.
problem with Garcelle.
Yeah. I liked Garcelle too. I guess that's it, right? We're going to have to wait and see what happens next week at the reunion. I know it's going to be 3 parts too. I think he already announced that.
Yeah.
So,
you know what it comes down to? These women really aren't friends.
Well, that's the
They're
thing.
really just not friends. They're show friends.
Right.
yeah.
So
They're
for Garcelle to
coworkers.
walk away, it's like, what's she losing? A little bit of a paycheck for her?
Yeah. And
You
a
know.
lot of aggravation.
And a lot of aggravation.
That's what I'm
A lot
saying.
of aggravation.
That's what I'm
None
saying.
of these women on Beverly Hills need the paycheck.
No,
Well, I think
Maybe
Erika
one.
needs the
Erika
paycheck.
needs the
Maybe one or two. I think
Yeah.
Erika and Dorit need the paycheck.
Yeah, certainly
But
right
the
now.
other ones certainly don't.
Right. What I'm trying to say is I don't think this was like some big blow up between the two Black women on the show, and that's why Garcelle.
No.
No.
I don't think that was it either. No.
Absolutely not.
No. I don't think that was it either.
Absolutely not.
All right, so what did you want to tell me about
Okay,
Bethany?
so Bethany Frankel. So did you I don't listen to her podcast, but apparently she was talking about Teresa and Louis, whatever's going on with them financially. I don't even want to touch on
They're
that.
millions of dollars.
Yeah, whatever they have going on, whatever
We're not
it is,
talking about that. Right.
We're not talking about that. But Bethany Frankel referenced it and called Real Housewives of New Jersey like a dumpster fire and said that none of them have money.
Uh-huh.
So funny. So Tamra and Dolores were covering some show, Summer House or something else, which I'd love to talk about, but we'll wait to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were like, fuck her. Like, fuck you, Bethany. Like, obviously, the women you could say whatever you want about Teresa, but she has been on the show since the beginning. Again, I'm not touching on her financial situation, but the woman has earned a lot of money through Bravo over the years and her other ventures. These women clearly have money. And what a hypocrite Bethany is. Like, she sold Skinny Girl for millions and millions and millions of dollars and then went back to Roni afterwards, but has said you only go on these shows if you need money.
Right.
So what'd you do, Bethany? Did you blow your Skinny Girl money? And then you had to go back on Roni afterwards? Like, she's a big fucking hypocrite.
And they called her out on it.
Dolores and Tamra totally called her out on it, and I 100% agree with everything they said.
Oh, I didn't listen to it. I did know that they were talking about it because I saw, bits and pieces of it on social media. Tamra and Teresa did not get along, right, at all?
I mean, there was definitely a time where, Tamra said that Louis gave her Brooks vibes.
Yeah, that's what it was about.
Clearly, that's not going to go over well with Teresa. So there was a rift. But I do think that they patched that up at some point.
Yeah. I have listened to a couple of her and Dolores recaps, and I actually like listening to Dolores. I like her and Tamra together. I do. I think that she does a good job with her.
I think she does too. But I tell you guys.
But
I text you guys. She sounds ridiculous. I'm gonna look at my text.
You text us? I missed
I
it?
text you guys about this yesterday. You were in Atlantic City living it up with your girlfriends.
Okay, so I missed it.
And I was busy cleaning the
And
bathroom.
this is what I wrote. And I'm sure I'm going to get heat for this from the tree stumps, but whatever. I'm listening to Two T's with Dolores talking about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and Dolores is a huge hypocrite for what she's saying about Garcelle, Sutton, and Kyle, considering how loyal she is to Teresa. She's saying people that have yes people around them are detrimental. She's saying that Sutton is surrounded by yes people, and it's detrimental.
Okay.
Hello? Like, your girl, Teresa, is obviously surrounded by yes people. This is, again, I'm not getting into financial situations. I'm not touching on that. But she surrounds herself with yes people. So Dolores, to me, sounded like a hypocrite talking about Sutton and that whole situation. But I do agree with you. I enjoy listening to her and Tamara on when they recap.
Yeah. And I like listening to Tamara with Erika, too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, initially
Teddy and Erika.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. But I think, hasn't Erika done some now that Teddy's out?
So I think it was Teddy and Erika, Tamara and Dolores, and Tamara and Trishelle from Real
Trishelle.
Real World.
Okay, that's right. So Tamara and Trishelle. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad that the podcast is still going, and we continue to keep Teddy in our prayers because
absolutely,
she's got a big, long road ahead of her.
Absolutely, and yeah. So I just thought that I'm so glad they called Bethany out because, I mean, I agree with Bethany on certain points, but that was ridiculous. And to call Real Housewives of New Jersey a dumpster fire,
no.
And she trashes Real Housewives all the time, but she recaps old episodes of RHOBH-A.
I know. It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
It really makes no sense.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you, girl.
She really is a hypocrite about certain things, and that happens to be one of them. And I don't get it. I don't know why she does it. Like, what is the purpose? Like, she doesn't need the money either. Why is she doing this?
I think that some people just like the fame. They just like to be, relevant.
Really?
I think Bethany is one of those people that wants to be relevant.
Okay. That could be it. Maybe. All right. Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah,
until
we
next
gotta talk
time.
about Summer House and Southern Charm because I'm
next we'll do a separate. Okay, we'll do a separate
Livid.
episode about that. Okay,
right.
is that all right?
Yes.
Separate
Yes.
episode.
Yes.
Without
yes.
me.
Yeah,
Right.
we're almost at an hour. Nobody wants to listen to us anymore.
No. We don't even want to
Lori.
listen to each other.
Exactly.
No.
Most importantly, Lori.
Lori
that's
does not want to listen to us anymore.
That's right. Exactly.
Okay, until next time, thank you for watching and listening. Please give us 5-star reviews and subscribe. Bye.
Bye.